Miss Aiken, I read a great book series this weekend. It was so amazing. I just want to get another series just like it. Do you have any suggestions?
That's great, Max. I'd love to help you find another series. Can you tell me about the series you read?
It was the Leviathan series. I loved the worlds they lived in. It was both futuristic and in the past. There were whale blimps that were alive and mechanical, lots of adventures. It was so cool.
Follow me, Max. I have some great recommendations for you.
Book recommendations, or Reader's Advisory, a core of library science. We are going to take a closer look at the elements of successful Reader's Advisory, and we are going to do this using Dr. Raghunatha's 5 laws of library science, starting with the first law: books are for use. As librarians, we can have every book correctly cataloged, labeled, and shelved, but unless the books are being used, that work is for naught. Books are meant to be read, and Reader's Advisory is a great way to make this happen. My name is Cindy. I have been a school librarian for 13 years. Together with my colleagues, high school librarian Ellen, middle school librarian Mark, and some of our fabulous secondary school students, we are going to share with you how Reader's Advisory can become a dynamic and powerful part of your library program. The main concept of Reader's Advisory in secondary schools is to assist our students in connecting with a book. Dr. Raghunatha calls this every reader his book, and this is vital in school library settings. We know from research that reading for young adults is important in the development of identity and can begin a lifelong trend in leisure reading. So how can we, as school librarians, use Reader's Advisory tools to help our students find that just right book? Let's start with some easy tools that may already be available to you. Novelist and Bookish are 2 databases that give suggestions based upon a book you read and liked. Simply type in a title of a favorite book and you will get recommendations. Some library catalogs have these databases built in so you can get recommendations while searching. One problem with databases such as Novelist and Bookish is that you may not have the books that they recommend. This can lead to frustration for both you and the patron to find a just right book and not have it available in the library. Another option is book lists. Book lists allow the library to recommend books based on genre or other factors such as gender. Lists can come in many formats. Ways to jazz up those lists would be to create genre bookmarks or a catalog that has sections for each genre with easily replaceable pages to update as needed to stay current. Why not turn your list into a flow chart that walks students through a set of questions to help them pick a book? Examples of the bookmarks, genre catalog, and flow chart can be viewed using the links below. You can create all of these wonderful resources, but there is nothing that beats person-to-person communication over books. There is a very good chance that the patron really wants to talk with you about book recommendations, and it is necessary that you are prepared to handle this. You saw it in the opening of the video, the Reader's Advisory interview. A patron asks you, "What do you recommend?" It would be easy to say, "Check the catalog," or "Pick a bookmark," but taking a moment to talk to the patron through a choice lets them know you are interested in them and their need. I start by asking, "What have you read and liked?" This question allows me to let the patron know I am interested in them and helps to gauge what books they like to read in order to get a good idea of what to recommend. If I know the book, that helps. If I don't know the book, I might say, "I am not familiar with that book. Can you tell me more?" I listen for key items that clue me in on the appeal. Are they describing action, mystery, love? Are they focusing on aspects of the character that they connected with? Was there a historical event, religious or philosophical interest that they are wanting to delve into further? Based upon their answer, I try to choose 2 to 3 books to offer and tell them why. We've looked at Reader's Advisory from the view of every reader his book. But Dr. Raghunatha offers us his 3rd law of library science that lets us look at Reader's Advisory from another viewpoint, and that is from the view of every book its reader. With this law, we are now focusing on the book itself and finding the patrons that would enjoy it. One of the easiest ways to highlight books is through displays. Having books out on the top of shelves or on display stands can be eye-catching and certainly increase its circulation. I like to place not only a variety of genres, but also choose both new books interspersed with older books that haven't been circulated recently. Whenever I have a class presentation, I try to take a few minutes at the end to highlight a few books with book talks. These are short talks that highlight a bit of plot, setting, and character presented in such a way as to interest a student to check it out. I have found these to be very successful and sometimes can get a student interested in a book who might not have normally checked out a book. Another idea, especially to highlight books that haven't circulated as much as you feel they should, is to set up blind date with a book. Gift wrap good books in wrapping paper and set out in a blind date display. Students choose a book from the display and are challenged to read at least 50 pages before making a decision to continue reading it or turning it back in. The idea is not to judge a book by its cover. While I have never done blind date with a book, Ellen shared that she has had great success and fun with this reader's advisory activity. Another idea that I see more and more is to create book trailers to sell students on a book. These are basically movie trailers for books. Here, let's have a look.
In a world full of treachery and danger, rises one man with a unique ability. Yeah, that's me, Joe. Do you know the odds of getting struck by lightning are 1 in 3.5 million? I guess that makes me the luckiest guy on earth, right? But there's more to the story than that. It seems that the strike out of the blue has left me with some interesting abilities, the least of which is setting my shoes on fire. Read Flame by Jason Jackson.
I've shared a lot of ideas for connecting patrons to books and books to patrons. But in order for any of these ideas to be put into practice, the librarian must have a strong knowledge of books in general. This is really a must if the librarian is going to be efficient with reader's advisory. This brings us to our fourth law, save the time of the reader. If you don't know about the books, especially the books on your own library shelves, you will be unable to create lists, displays, book trailers, or any recommendation. Patrons want suggestions immediately, and they will stop visiting the library if it is not helpful. Librarians may ask, but how can I keep up with all the new books coming out and all the books in my library? I can't read every book. While this is true, I do have a few suggestions to help you keep current and immersed in books in order to be proficient at Reader's Advisory. Besides keeping up with book reviews and award winners, I recommend a great strategy by Jessica Moyer called How to Read a Book in Just 10 Minutes. Ellen is here to share more about this.
Thank you, Cindy. This is a great technique that I have used over the years. Start by choosing a book to read. Use a 5x7 card to record information such as author, title, genre, and series. Get a feel for the book. Check size and weight. Is the cover appealing? What does it say about the book? Read the blurb. What does it say about the storyline? Now read the first chapter. Does it pull you in or build slowly? If it is a series, how smoothly does it deliver background information? Skim and read bits and pieces here and there throughout the book. Does it flow? What is the general impression? And now, you need to read the end. Sorry, but this is important. If it has an epilogue, read a couple of sections before the epilogue. Is there a conclusion, or is it open-ended? Does the ending read like a checklist, wrapping up all loose ends? What can you tell about the style? Humorous? Serious? Length of sentences, sections, chapters, dialogue. What is the pacing? Leisurely or action-oriented? What is the format? Straight-line narrative? Flashback? Single or multiple points of view? How smooth are these transitions? How about the characters? Are there a few or many? Are they recognizable type? How about the setting? What's the time, the place? Is it integral or wallpaper? What's the storyline, character or plot driven? Does it follow genre conventions? Is it a recognizable subgenre? Consider other author or titles that come to mind. Which readers would enjoy this book? What can you say about the book when doing a book talk or suggesting it to a patron? And there you have it. 10 minutes to read a book. Make a goal for yourself. If you did 3 books a day, you could do 15 books a week. It would open your book suggestion knowledge base and make Reader's Advisory more satisfying for you and the student.
Thanks so much for sharing, Ellen. Great idea. A handout on this activity is included on the page below. We all have our favorite books and genres, but as librarians, we should try to make sure that we are experts in all genres. Don't like romance? Well, many of your patrons do. Horror frightens you? That's the point. But there are students who love to be scared, and it is your job to help them have that experience. Participating in a genre study is a great way to experience new and unfamiliar works. A genre study is an immersion into an area of fiction and/or nonfiction to understand the appeal of a particular genre. You can choose to do this alone, but finding a group is ideal so you can share your ideas and discoveries. Perhaps your library colleagues would be interested in doing a genre study as a year-long professional learning community. That was the case with Mark, who did a year-long PLC with his middle school librarian colleagues. Mark, can you share your experience?
I would love to, Cindy. As you mentioned, a few of my middle school library colleagues and I decided that we would choose a different genre each year. During this time, we would immerse ourselves in that genre, meeting 4 times a year to discuss the books we read, share ideas, create readers' advisories items such as book trailers, genre bookmarks, flowcharts, and more. We shared aspects of our books and other books that may share common themes, plots, or characters in order to connect them to other books for future reader advisory options. Last year, we chose to focus on middle school fiction about bullying. This year, we're focusing on historical fiction. Each time, we find that we grow as librarians and our ability to provide valuable readers' advisory increases.
Thanks for sharing, Mark. Mark provided a handout called The Sane Librarian's Guide to Genre Study that I have included on the page below. Well, we have one more law, and that law says the library is a growing organism. So what does that have to do with readers' advisory? Well, everything. Collection development with the selection and acquisition of new books and reading of old books can be done more productively by knowing your patrons through readers' advisory. Listening and being open to the requests will help guide you in growing your collection for your users. This will increase use and more options for suggestions, titles to add to book lists, fresh displays, and more book trailers. It is a wonderful cycle that grows and blossoms again and again. I hope you found this information helpful. I wish you the best in your future endeavors with Readers Advisory.